We're ready for another episode. I have energy today. I'm just kidding. I slept like shit.
It is 9 p.m. You shouldn't have energy. But
oh, fuck, it is 9. I have to go to work at 7 tomorrow.
Oh.
Damn, that's going to suck. Oh, well. It's worth it. It's fine. We have pretty decorations. I'm so excited. If you're not watching on YouTube right now, we have a lot of new decorations. So we have wrapping paper on the table and on the wall, and I wrapped our little hangy thing. We got some lights.
Yes, Thanksgiving is over, so it's time for Christmas.
It is Christmas time. We're all festive up in here. We got our wine. It is a good time.
I'm not drinking wine.
I am. This is a new one. I haven't tried this wine before. I got a yeah, you saw it, the advent calendar for wine at Costco. Yeah, it's been great. Because I'm not like typically a wine drinker, but I like this. This is interesting.
Yeah. I'm drinking some hard lemonade.
Ooh.
Non-branded. Just
Ooh.
It is branded.
All fancy. This episode, honestly, I didn't have any ideas to do today because there's some I'm saving for later, and then I was like, okay, I don't know what I want to do today.
Oh,
and then
got it.
Yeah, so I asked a coworker, I was like, man, what would you find interesting? She's like, haunted houses, like people living in haunted houses. What are your experiences? Because we have a lot of experiences from different areas and like stories that are just random, like from different places. But this is just strictly haunted houses. Like, and we have said plenty of stories of like our house and weird stuff that's happened there.
It was like last time when we were together.
Yeah, honestly, that's gonna have to be a whole episode of its own. This is kind of what other people have experienced in their houses, which I think is gonna be really interesting.
Okay.
Just seeing what other people see, and then maybe I don't have to feel so bad about our house being so creepy.
I feel like some people have it worse, but
there's definitely people that have it worse. Not to say like ours isn't scary, but these are much scarier. Personally, I feel.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Okay. So this first one, my stepbrother and I came face to face in broad daylight with a shadowy specter. Okay. As a disclaimer, I want to say that I realize this story creates a lot of unanswered questions. I also want to acknowledge that some people may take issue with the word demon since it has a religious connotation to it. I understand that not everyone holds the same religious beliefs or possesses any at all, but for lack of a better word, I will be calling the subject of question in my story a demon, since I don't know what else to call it. Yeah, so moving on. This happened when I was in my early teens. Probably in 2004 or so. I was living with my father at the time, who had just married a single mother who had 4 boys of her own of varying ages. The boy, who was the same age as me, let's call him Jordan, was the one that I spent the most time with while they were married, for obvious reasons. We didn't get along, but for the most part, we were buddies. We had just signed an agreement into a new townhouse in an apartment complex, which, if you don't know, is essentially a big apartment with an upstairs and a downstairs. The house was completely empty at the time, but we had moved in anyway and hadn't brought any of our stuff over yet. Our parents decided to take the little ones with them to do errands and leave Jordan and I home alone to mess around, since we were older. We had a mattress and a television in Jordan's room with a Nintendo that hooked up, so we at least had something to do while we were there. Our parents drove away, and Jordan and I started to play the Nintendo to pass time. Note that the house was 99% empty at the time. For the next part of the story, you have to understand the layout of our bedrooms. The upstairs of the townhouse had 3 bedrooms for me and my brothers. When you reached the top of the stairs, there was one big bedroom to your right. This was the little one's shared bedroom. To your left was Jordan's bedroom, and my bedroom was connected to his, meaning you had to pass through his room to reach mine, which was an entirely separate room with its own door. Our parents' bedroom was at the very bottom of the stairs, a few feet away from the front door. We'd shut the door to Jordan's room, the one that exited into the hallway, just for the heck of it, not for any particular reason. We were playing our game when all of a sudden the door popped open again on its own. Not thinking much of it, we shrugged and closed the door again. Yet, the door opened again on its own. It didn't bust open, it just calmly popped open, as if someone opened it and had peeped their head through the crack. Jordan and I started to speculate that maybe something was wrong with the door, caused it not to shut. We repeated this process many times, getting more and more nervous each time it happened. Finally, Jordan suggested that we go downstairs and wait for our parents to go home. Downstairs, we lied down on the floor and stared out the glass back door and talked for a few minutes, discussing the possibility that wind was getting into the house and somehow pushing the door open. Not long after we started talking, we heard a hideous screeching noise come from somewhere nearby. It was loud, long, and sounded near, but from what direction, we did not know. It sounded a lot like the Lord of the Rings. Jordan's eyes were wide as saucers when we looked at each other fearfully. We told ourselves it was just a neighbor using a vacuum cleaner or something. Now we were really scared, so we decided to apply some good old logic to the situation. We made double sure that all the windows and doors downstairs were firmly shut and headed back upstairs. I suggested that we plug in a stand-up fan in the hallway outside of our bedroom and point the fan away from the door, push any wind away. With our plan put into place, we shut the door again and waited. Standing inside Jordan's bedroom, we waited, and the door popped open again. It just calmly swung open. We repeated this a couple times. Each time the door opened, we retreated to my bedroom and peered into the room to see it open. This time, we decided to put the disobedient door to the ultimate test. We locked the door from the inside. There was no effing way that door was going to open when it is locked. It was not possible. Jordan waited while I locked it and made sure it was locked, and I returned to our position, peeking into his room. We waited for a few moments, our hearts beating like mad drummers in our chest, hands shaking, watching the door closely. It opened. The door fucking opened. I locked that damn door and it opened. Jordan and I both ran into the corner of my empty adjacent room, scared out of our minds. We had kept trying to shut it, and we knew we did. I decided that I was going to lock it and shut it again. This happened 1 or 2 more times, me locking the door and us running away when it opened. The door popped open again, calmly but firmly like it did before. I tiptoed through Jordan's empty room, approaching the door with my eyes fixated on the wide opening. I could see into the hallway. Something came through the door. I don't know what it was, but I saw it. It was big, and it was made completely of shadow blackness. No skin, no flesh, no hide or scales, just a pitch black form. It had 2 large, perfectly round yellow marbles for eyes. Its hands were like dinosaur claws, wide-palmed with strange, long fingers, clutching the doorframe and peering into the room and right into my eyes. 2 thick tendrils sprouted from its head and fell behind its back, like a thing from Star Wars. I got a good look at it for about 1 solid second. No more, no less. A feeling of pure dread and horror filled my insides. I screamed, Jordan screamed, but before I could react, some powerful force pushed me back into the adjacent room. Well, maybe Jordan ran, yanked me, I don't know. Memory is fuzzy after so many years. And I found myself sprawled on the floor against the wall. Jordan was huddling over me, crying and praying frantically out loud. My memory after that is a bit blurry. I don't remember what happened between then and when our parents came home. I do remember when we tried to tell them the story of what happened, but in classic parent fashion, they didn't believe a single word we said. It went through one ear and out the other. I'm sure Jordan has forgotten about it by now as well. We moved it 1 or 2 more times, and our parents divorced after only being married for a few years. I've kept this story mostly to myself since.
I don't like that. That's really doors are creepy.
I would cry. I would straight up cry.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. I just like, the thing about doors is you never know what's behind them.
That's what I don't like. Like, if something's knocking at your door or it just keeps moving.
Yeah.
I don't care what the fuck is behind that door. Oh shoot, they didn't have anything in their house, because I was going to say I'd push my dresser in front of it, but they didn't have it. I wonder what would have happened if they would have like pushed their body against the door to like keep it shut. I wonder if they would have felt pressure.
I don't know. But what I do know is doors are stupid and I don't like them.
Do you know how quickly I would shit my pants if I opened the door and there's just this big shadowy creature staring into my soul?
That's why you
Hell to the fuck no.
That's why you don't open the door. You just don't do that. Okay, whenever our cat Patch would like thump on the door, I still didn't open it, even though I would know that it was the cat.
No.
Still wouldn't open it.
Well, to be fair, they weren't opening it. It was opening on its own.
Well, yeah.
So, like, what do you do?
Mhm.
What do you do?
Close it, run to the door, and slam it shut?
They should have hidden her room.
Yeah.
And just kept that door shut.
Or move out.
Or I probably would have hidden my parents' room, maybe.
Yeah. Mom, Dad, I threw up.
I threw up.
Mom, Dad, there's a demon at the door.
Yeah, I shit my pants. So, you're gonna have to clean that up. Because there's a shadowy demon that you moved into this house. So now you're gonna clean up my shit. Absolutely not. That's terrifying. Imagine, like, getting up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, right? And you just see yellow eyes staring back at you.
I hate doing
Fuck
that
no.
in general. So I, like, try and hold my pee until the morning. But if you gotta go, you gotta go. And that's what sucks, is because just leaving your bedroom at night,
I hate it.
Is the worst.
Well, in our bedroom, you have to walk down super steep steps into a black room.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then
ooh.
walk back up the steps.
Yeah, I always sprint up the steps. If you ever see me, I'm like crawling up like a bear. I'm like, ugh.
Those TikToks of these people, they'll run up the stairs because the demon's gonna get you.
Mhm.
Like that. You have staircase. I'm lucky. My bedroom's like right next to the bathroom, but I still run away.
I've ran into the wall in the middle of the night trying to run away from the demons that are gonna get me. I've been like, I gotta get to the room, and like slammed into the wall because I can't see.
That's actually really.
I'm like, oh shit! I hope Paige doesn't wake up.
I can't wake up to anything, you know that.
Nah, you don't usually. That's why I was talking with Connor the other day. I was like, if there's ever a fire, I hope to God Paige wakes up. Because we're like, man, we'd throw Bean out the window, we'd jump, then I have to go slamming on Paige's room to wake her up.
Well, remember that one night where it was like a tornado warning, and you kept on like, Paige, wake up, and I wouldn't wake up. You probably thought I was dead.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I don't know. I don't remember trying to wake you up, but I remember you wouldn't wake up.
Oh yeah,
Man, we were just like, man, tornado's taking her.
Yeah, I used to be a hard sleeper. I've been struggling lately with my with my sleeping, but yeah, no. Just stay in your bedroom at night if you can. If you can do that, do it. But yeah, she didn't have a choice, so that really sucks for her, I guess.
I wonder how late it was.
Yeah,
It's like,
AM.
I doubt it. There's no way they had the kids up that late with the parents gone. It had to be like, between 7 and 9, I'd think.
How old were they?
Early teens.
Early teens?
Yeah, I think it said early teens.
So, yeah, probably like 10 o'clock, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said early teens in 2004.
Okay.
So, that's weird. It had to be like between 7 and 9, because if they had little siblings, they shouldn't have been out too late.
Right.
It'd be terrifying if it happened in broad daylight.
I don't know. I feel like I am more comfortable with scary things when it's in the day than I am at night.
Well, here's my thing. When you take what happens during the day, multiply that at night. Because what happens at night is so different.
Mm-hmm.
When things get dark, it shifts. It's why I am terrified of the dark, because I can feel the energy just shift.
Mm-hmm.
And like, not I'm like, oh my God, I feel all the energies around. Like, no, it feels different. And people who are like psychic mediums, whatever you want to call it, that really do sense that stuff, they'll confirm it. But the night is different.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that night is different than
Mm-hmm.
day. Like, day is more like bright and happy and sunshine, and then
Mm-hmm.
night is like kind of quiet and ominous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you picture like 5 p.m. in the summer versus 5 p.m. at night, way different.
Mm-hmm. Well, like,
Or in the winter.
there's something about the night that attracts spiritual entities, whatever you want to call it, more. Regardless, and yeah, things can still happen during the day, but at night, things just amplify. I'm trying to remember the word for it, but it gives them more energy, I believe, to do more things. That's why things happen more at night, and all the paranormal investigations typically happen at night. Like it brings them more power and energy. That's why more stuff happens at night. So if this is happening not like too far into the night, there has to be more that's happened like at 3 a.m.
There's definitely a lot of energy in that house, and it's not good energy.
And that's powerful energy. That's not something little. That's your first night there, and it shows itself to you. I would be so curious to see what other stories they have, because you can't tell me that's the only story they have.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's people who've been like, oh, by the first 2 weeks or 2 months, it was perfect and whatever.
Yeah.
And then things start happening when the spirits get comfortable.
Yeah, just reminds me of like The Haunting of Hill House or The Conjuring. Something like that.
This is day 1 and that happened. Like, they have to have more stories. I'd be so surprised. And, like, even talking to the younger siblings or parents, I'd want to know, like, what happened with them, if they had any experiences.
Yeah. I hope they have never once played hide and clap.
Oh, stop. I forgot about that game until you just said that. Hide and clap? Absolutely not.
Chills down.
I just
touching her back.
God, I just feel like something's gonna pop out in my head. Oh, I'd shit my pants. I say that a lot on here, and I think people think I'm joking. I am not. I am not afraid to pee and poop my pants.
It's a good thing there's reindeers behind us.
Yeah, reindeers.
That's the only thing.
I make my Christmas trees and my candle protect me. I'm gonna sage the damn place.
It's polar bear.
Man, polar bear protect me. Pink. I don't have my glass near me, but yeah, no. I don't even ever want to speak of that game again. If you know what that is, you know. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's all I'll say about that. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because that's going to show up in my nightmares now.
All right, next story.
The next story, we ready? Okay, along the same lines. My wife and I were living in an apartment, and my great aunt was looking to sell her home. The house was built in the 50s and needed some work, and my aunt didn't feel like taking care of it. So she suggested that she take the apartment and we buy the house. It was 2005 and the market was going nuts. So it worked out for everyone. We got a fixer-upper for a fair price, and she got an apartment without the hassle. The house was always full of people. We had friends live with us for a while, then my brother, then we had kids. After moving in, I started sleepwalking. Actually opened up the basement door and fell down a flight of stairs. That sucked. Every once in a while, you'd get creeped or have a strange sound. But it wasn't nothing worth noting, and it could be explained as something else making noise. My great aunt passed away a few years ago, and things started getting really strange. My wife would hear noises. My son, who was 2 or 3 at the time and had 2 older siblings, started waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning crying. The cat would go into his room and stare at the top corner of his wall. The dogs would growl outside the door. All pretty explainable. My wife was getting nervous, but I just laughed it off. We live close to the neighbors. My son's hitting a developmental milestone. Maybe squirrels are getting into the attic. Then things started getting really creepy. We were watching my brother's son. One day, I hear the giggling in my son's room. It's my nephew. I walk in, and he's pointing at the corner. Cat used to stare. The creepy giggling. My son just started saying things like, I don't want to go to bed. He gets mad. Or the shadow went over there. I still laughed it off out loud, but was getting creeped out. That uneasy, someone's there feeling kept hitting harder and harder. Then, the 3 a.m. stuff. Super cliche, but hand to God, I have never heard of the witching hour until I started talking to guys at work. That's how creeped out I was getting. I told people about this craziness. I'd wake up in a cold sweat. No big deal, though falling back asleep was tough because I felt like someone was watching. Then, for absolutely no reason, at 3:01, my smoke detector starts going off. Going off 3 times, then it stops. Check the house, nothing. Change the batteries, go back to bed. Then the next morning, 3:01, fire, fire, fire. Goes off 3 times and stops. I get up again. Nothing. After the 4th night, I am totally spooked. Then it inexplicably stops. We ended up moving shortly after. We moved into an 1850s farmhouse. I have never felt safer. No creepy feelings. The kids are sleeping better. I've even stopped sleepwalking. As a side note, the people that bought our house never even moved in. They put the house back on the market, and that's where it sat for almost a year.
Well,
Holy shit.
I hate that. Once again, children are creepy, and I don't like them.
Oh my god. First of all, fire alarms at night are scary in and of itself because it's such a quick jolt awake. But to have it go off at the same goddamn time, 4 nights in a row, they were right to move. Don't blame them one bit.
It's 3 a.m. too.
The 3:01.
Witching hour.
Seriously, when you get 1 minute in? Oh my god. It has impeccable timing.
It just likes that time. It knows that time.
It knows, man. Who taught the ghost how to read a clock? Assholes. Oh, that's terrible. Poor kids. I want to know. I want to know what the kids saw. I want the kids' perspective of everything. What did they see if they remember it?
It just reminds me of the Poltergeist.
Well, that's a scary movie. It's an old one, but it's a goodie.
It's not that scary, like, compared to now.
But the concept.
Yeah.
The concept is terrifying.
Yes, and a lot of people did say that the what's the knife in the bathtub one? I can't really remember.
Knife in the bathtub? Shining?
Bates Motel. I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's
Shining.
not The Shining.
It's not?
No, Bates Motel is.
I don't remember.
It's a black and white one. It's this famous where the girl's screaming and getting stabbed.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that one.
I just don't remember what it's called, but I just remember. I actually don't remember where I was going with this, but
for that time, the movie was good.
For that time, the movie was scary.
Yeah,
that's what I was going with.
Yeah, for the time, it was great.
But it reminds me of the Poltergeist and the girl staring at the TVs.
Oh no!
They're here.
Oh my god! Put the child up for adoption. Kick it to the streets. Here. Oh my, nope.
Moving back to The Shining, the kids stay in Red Room over and over again.
Yeah. No.
That's
absolutely.
a really good impression. Really
good. Never do it again. Try not doing that again.
I impressed myself.
Yeah, I don't like it. Stop that. Don't do any more impressions. You're creeping me out this episode. Get out of my house, actually.
It's my house too.
I'm kicking you out. Calling the cops, trespassing.
I'm just kidding. No. I'm just kidding.
I don't know how many times I'm going to gag of fear on this episode. Ugh.
I just like to creep you out.
That one night when you were standing around the goddamn corner, that was not funny. Wasn't that night we just watched a scary movie and you... Oh my god. So for people that don't know, this asshole, I was in the kitchen getting myself some food, being all myself, minding my own business. This shithead decides, you know what would be a great idea right now? If I gave my sister a heart attack big enough to send her to the hospital. So she did exactly that.
I think she holding stuff too.
Yeah, fuck you. So she's standing around the corner where I can't see her. I turn the corner from the kitchen to go upstairs to my room with my little snacky snack. And she's just standing there like the creep she is. And just deadpan. I screamed so hard. I am so surprised the neighbors would call the cops to see if I was getting murdered to do a wellness check. Because I could have died right then and there. And she was laughing. Ah! That's so funny. And I could have fucking killed you. I was so mad at you for that. Oh, my heart.
My side of the story here, I thought it was really funny, and I knew you guys like this was the day that you watched Smile, right? I knew you watched Smile, so I'm like, gonna scare this bitch. Well, I didn't know you were in the kitchen at first, but I heard some rumbling in the kitchen. I was like, oh, it's probably Shayley. I walk out my room, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna scare her. I'm just gonna stand here and hope that she gets scared.
I hate you.
And yeah, I think I was also holding stuff too, so it did make so like my arms were both like up like this, and you turn around and you almost pissed your pants.
All I see right away, because I'm in the bright kitchen, I turn the corner to a dark room. All I see is a shadow figure staring at me. God,
Up to my hood.
yeah. God, that was so mean.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you back one day.
Okay, sure.
Man, what if it was Connor? You would have gotten him good.
I could see you. I could see that it was you
Oh,
because the light was on, so I could
suppose.
see that it was you. If it was Connor, I wouldn't have done it because I feel bad for Connor.
I love scaring him. Sometimes I'll hide around the corner of our bedroom and I'll just pop out. All you gotta see is boo, and that man shrivels. It's so funny. It's like one of my favorite things. Like, I fucking hate you. I'm like, I love you. I think it's funny.
Well,
It's really funny.
it's just what are sisters for?
Yeah.
I just like scaring you.
Yeah.
I try and scare Abby and Isaac, and it doesn't work. So I can scare you.
Man, those bitches aren't afraid of anything.
No, Abby, she's crazy. She'd be just like, hi. Okay, thanks. I tried my best.
I can picture her, you jumping around the corner. She's like, ooh. I can picture it. She's like, yeah, good job.
Rolls her eyes.
I can picture her. She's like, yeah, you tried. Better luck next time. All right, next story. Okay, last and final one. All right, same theme. There's a post about this somewhere on Reddit that I wrote before, but I'm too lazy to dig it up. My husband and I own a martial arts school, and the building that it's in, which we also own, is about 130 years old, next to a church. And I never, and I still don't really, there has to be another explanation, believed in the paranormal. But the things that have happened in it just didn't just happen to me. It was discrepant. Yeah, that's the word. It was discrepant. Please cut that out. I'm going to start over. Okay. It was discrepant, which is why it was so cheap to purchase. And we basically did all the work ourselves. Old, creaky, and drafty. Still knob and tube that we had to get an electrician out to change. So here's a bunch of things that happened. When we'd be working with like drills and electric saws, I'd hear the tinkling of a music box. And I'd stop everyone to ask if they hear it too. No one else did, so I assumed it must have been some music from the church coming through. My husband would often hear a woman's voice calling his name from the bottom of the stairs. It's 2 floors, a basement, and a loft. And thinking it was me back from work, would always ask to come up. Turns out the building was empty. Happened about 4 or 5 times. One night, there's a small apartment on the 2nd floor connected to a large wall. We woke up hearing what sounded like a broom sweeping across the wooden floors in a large hall. My husband got up to check, but once he would walk in there, the sweeping would stop. It happened 3 or more times that night. We chalked it up to mice or squirrels. We did find some mummified squirrels in the attic once. We had a barbecue in the backyard, and I needed to go get more utensils. There's a metal stairwell from the backyard up to the 2nd floor, and there's a main entrance to the staircase opposite to that. I came up to the main entrance and heard footsteps pacing back and forth across the far end of the hall, and thought my husband came up to the metal stairwell to get utensils with me. It was dark and I couldn't see anything. I called out for him and the pacing stopped. No response. And then the pacing footsteps continued. Annoyed, I thought he was messing with me, so I flipped on the lights, and all of the utensils from the shelf where I heard the pacing crashed down to the floor. Like I spooked something, but there wasn't anything, not even a rat, like I thought there might be. One Saturday morning, my husband was on his computer in another room. I'm in the apartment playing with a Tamagotchi app on my iPad when I heard the stereo sitting in front of me click on and a little girl's voice start talking from it. I thought he controlled the stereo from his computer, so I ignored it because he often puts on music to work out before class started. He teaches in the morning. I do remember thinking, what kind of weird ass indie music is he listening to anyway? Because the voice just said, "Hi, my name is." I thought I heard Katie, but I'm not 100% sure because I wasn't really paying attention. I have never known a Katie in my life. I am blank years old from blank. I didn't catch the specifics because I wasn't really listening, but that went on for about 2 or 3 minutes until it suddenly went, "Something's hurting me." And then I caught that. I looked up and squinted at the stereo. Like, what? Something's killing me. Something's killing me. At this point, the hair is standing on the back of my neck, and I'm getting up from the couch to take a closer look. Please, someone tell my parents, the teachers, tell the corrections officer. At the word corrections officer, I just bolt into the other room and start yelling at my husband and cursing him out because I was certain he was playing a trick on me. Told him, we don't fucking play jokes about dead people. And he's, of course, looking at me like, what the fuck? When he finally calms me down long enough to get what I heard out of me and what I accused him of, he told me it was impossible and led me to the stereo. It's not plugged in. I thought maybe the stereo picked up on signals from an ebook or something. So after that fiasco, I went to ask our live-in student who lived with his girlfriend in the basement apartment of the building if anything weird has happened. They shot each other an alarmed look and told me this. His girlfriend was sleeping one night when he was working the overnight, and she heard footsteps come down the stairs and their door open and then close. All of a sudden, a bright flashlight shines in her face, and she can just make out the silhouette of who she thought was her boyfriend because he's tall. And she can see the dirty jeans he's wearing. She's annoyed, thinking he's messing with her, so she's swatting at him and telling him to stop. Finally, she gets so pissed off, she rolls, turns on the lamp, and no one's there. They sometimes hear footsteps on the first floor when there's no one in the building. They had a pet mouse at the time, and whenever that happened, it would just start doing backflips in its tank. However, when class is going on, there are people in the building. The mouse didn't care and just went on about its mousy business. They were play wrestling one day when suddenly their African gray parrot ruffled its feathers and in a really alarmed voice asked, "Who's there? Who's there?" They thought it was funny at first, so our student looked at the bird and pointed to the door and said, "You mean over there?" and ran towards the door to open it. As he did that, all the books that were lining the shelf on the way to the door fell over in front of him and the lights started flickering. The bird and the mouse both got spooked and were throwing themselves against their cages. Our second live-in student after the first one got married to his girlfriend and got their own home. Several times could just not find his phone when he woke up in the morning when he had placed it next to his bed the night before. He would search his room high and low, and then he'd find it perfectly placed right outside his locked bedroom door on the floor. I thought he might have been sleepwalking, but his girlfriend said she'd realize it if he did since she's a very light sleeper. So don't know what that's about. Nothing notable has happened since, but we have also not heard anyone stay there overnight in years.
Wow. That
So time to move.
That gave me chills. Like seriously,
yeah.
I got a lot of chills from that.
Yeah.
With
me too.
the little girl talking through the radio.
Oh my god.
That excuse me. And the way you were like reading it. What the heck? That was like spot on and it was creepy as heck.
Radio wasn't fucking plugged in.
That's
Oh my god.
that gives me so much.
How does it do that? I want to know if it was just messing with her, or if that she was like remembering a death or how she died. I wish she would have fucking listened. Stop being a skeptic. You had this. This is real.
I feel like she's just trying to make sense of the situation. Like what humans like to do is just piece things together and make logical sense before they go straight to, oh, it's ghost.
Yeah, I get it. You try to rationalize it and you're like, oh, no, it's not this, not that. And I do that too in the middle of the night just to get myself through the night.
Yeah.
But holy God,
No, again,
if I heard that coming through the radio, oh my God.
yeah, no, that's just. I mean, your first thoughts would be like maybe someone's hacking the radio.
Yeah, that's what I would think at first.
Like with Alexas and stuff, that happens.
Still listen. That's weird.
That's so creepy.
Man, I wish you would have listened.
But the fact that it was not plugged in.
Oh my God.
Weird. Like,
that's not explainable.
Just technology doing technology things when it's not even turned on, not plugged in, or like batteries aren't in or anything like that. That is when you know that something is up.
Mm-hmm. Well, even then, the footsteps, the pacing.
Yeah.
How do you just walk around pitch black, first of all, then turn on the lights and all the silverware falls to the floor? I love props to her for trying to rationalize and be like, oh, it's this, it's that. But oh my God, I could not. I'd believe it instantly.
Rationalizing is also a way of protecting yourself, like putting a shield over something so that you don't freak out even more. And like it's like you just want to rationalize that, you want to make sense of it. I don't want to pull a Connor here of like maybe it's just this, that, and the other thing, but
sometimes there just is no other explanation.
Yeah, no, like,
and that's fine. I know you don't want to believe it. Sometimes if you just want to throw it over your shoulder,
thinking that it's just her boyfriend, just playing a prank. That's the first thing that you want to go to, but in reality, it's not. It might not be the truth.
Yeah, she did have a couple edits for some questions, so I'll go over these here quick.
Okay.
So the first one is, I only looked into it very slightly because, again, I am more inclined to believe it's just a stereo picking up on an ebook someone was listening to. However, for all you ghost hunters out there, feel free to look it up. And about me page in the food blog, which is my profile, here's a link to this school, which includes the address. Have fun. Let me know if you find anything. Oh, people can go ghost hunting there.
Cool.
Since it was such an old building and we did most of the work ourselves, as in there was no functional bathrooms or anything, and I can now lay tile down like a pro, it could have been a hallucinogenic mold that affected everyone. No. First of all, no, I refuse to believe that.
Or lead paint.
Yeah, no. Third one is I had some years prior to this, had a week of hallucinating people who weren't there in spiders, which had increasingly insane colors, but they were also tactile hallucinations because I felt them on my hands as well. I otherwise have no issues, and those symptoms have never occurred again after that. It's our week. But the other people saw it too.
Yeah.
Because
if it was hallucinations, you wouldn't be hallucinating the same thing. You'd like have your own little thing.
Yeah, no. If it was hallucinations, I don't think it would be that. I think she's trying to play like the ignorance is bliss card, which I get. I get it. Some people they're like, no, absolutely not.
It's just like a fight or flight response.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But like at the same time, I don't know. I don't like putting solutions where I feel like they don't belong.
Yeah, some things are just unexplainable, and that's just it.
That's just it. Like, you know what?
You can't explain it, and it's a supernatural thing.
Yeah.
That's why the word supernatural exists.
Well, and not everything needs to be explainable either. People always try to find an explanation to something, and especially in this realm.
Human nature.
Yeah, and I get it. I don't blame them whatsoever. But not everything is going to have an explanation, especially in this field. You're not always going to find it. Sometimes you're going to be like, well, that was fucked, but it is what it is.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
I guess we're just going to live with that then.
Yeah, that's what it is. Time to move on with my life. That sucked. There we go.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't explain it.
Yeah.
And you just have to. And if it's frustrating because, I feel the frustration of not knowing something. Like, I just want to Google it, but it's not Google or something like that. I feel that frustration. And, you just naturally want to come up with a solution to it. But sometimes there is no solution.
Yeah, which sucks, but We live and we learn, and they seem to be doing better now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's mold or hallucinations.
Yeah.
But hopefully they're doing well now with their new home.
Old buildings, they scare me. Hopefully
Yeah.
that new home is a new home.
Yeah, well, even this house, this is early 1900s.
This was 1929, I believe.
28.
28.
Mhm.
So it's not yet 100 years old.
But it's getting there. It's not like a new home by any means.
It's pretty close to 100. But that one was 130.
That's old.
That is old as heck. I mean, we're Americans, so 130 is old. But imagine, like, being British and living in a place that was built 400 years ago.
Man,
that would be crazy.
Imagine.
I couldn't even imagine. Imagine the ghosts inside of those places.
Yeah, Connor's dad, he was showing me pictures from, I think, Sweden?
Sweden, okay.
I think it was Sweden. Yeah,
all right.
We'll go with Sweden. We'll go with it.
Go with Sweden.
But he was showing me some pictures of the buildings, and when I was looking at them, I just kept getting chills down my back. I'm like, oh, I can just feel the energies through the picture.
Good.
Like, I would love to go to Europe. I've never been to Europe, and I want to go to Europe, but I don't know if I could actually do it. Going through all those old buildings, I don't know.
I mean, when we went to Key West and that fort something, it was the military thing.
Yes.
That was creepy.
That was really creepy.
What war was that? Like the World War I? No, I don't know.
It was
Spanish War? That sounds like right.
I don't think so.
It was Florida.
I think it was World War II after the bombing of one of the places. I don't remember. Fort Lauderdale? Is that it?
Yeah. No,
I don't think that's right.
Fort Lauderdale is
whatever fort is in the Keys on the very end of Keys.
Military thingy is in Key West.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, because I can't remember it, but it was some sort of fort place military thing. Creepy as heck. If you ever go to the Keys, go visit it because it is heckin' creepy.
Heckin' creepy.
But that gave me chills. I didn't like that place. A lot of places in Key West were kind of creepy. And then there's the park by our lake place that is very creepy. I always had chills. Every time we were there, chills. All the time.
I'm trying to find which one it was.
I feel like as soon as we see it, it would just click.
Yeah.
So while she's looking for that, I'm gonna explain the park by our lake place. So it is this place that this older couple built for their son who committed suicide, and that is just on its own very creepy. Apparently, this kid liked the I think pioneer times, so they built these historical places like a pilgrim house with like a real like stuffed turkey inside of it. It was a old time jail with no taxidermy's creepy stuff to me. So there was a creepy jail, and inside of that jail had a deer head, and it's just everything about this place just gave me chills. And the worst building was this doll store. It was filled with porcelain dolls, and they were all facing towards you. Like when you walk in, it was just the creepiest thing if you've ever seen a porcelain doll. If not, look it up because those things are creepy. And our parents have a bunch of porcelain dolls locked in our storage room, which last time I was on here, we talked about the storage room and how creepy that is. So you guys probably are, if you listen to that episode, you know about that. And that's probably why the storage room is creepy, is because of the porcelain dolls. But another thing that I found creepy about that place was this teepee that was built. And I just remember one time, our older cousins, they loved to creep us out. And I remember one time we went into the teepee. We were allowed to do that. And there was drums and stuff, and they were messing around, banging on the drums. And all of a sudden, they were pulling a prank on me because they knew I was creeped out by this whole place, and they decided that it would be funny to start just like screaming and running away because the one of the owners was, I don't know, mowing the grass nearby, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, we have to run, go, go, go!" It was just, I hated them at that time, but yeah. Are you having any luck finding it at all?
Truman Annex?
Oh yeah, yep, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a cool place. It was really
It was
cool.
really cool. I liked the history behind it, but it was creepy for sure.
Truman Annex,
I think
Key
a lot of
West.
places in Key West are creepy just because Key West is an older place.
Truman Annex is both a neighborhood and military installation in the Key West, Florida.
Yep.
And it is part of the island of the Whitehead Street. It is where the Winter White House for President Harry S. Truman is located. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, and then what's that one author or writer, poet, something? His house is down in Key West, and I don't remember if we visited or not.
I don't think we did.
But there was a house by the lighthouse that I thought was
I remember that.
The lighthouse.
Yeah. Mom hated that.
Just a lot of stuff in Key West is creepy. If you ever go there, definitely visit it because it's definitely fun.
I liked Key West. I'd go back.
Yeah, for sure.
Key West was good. 10 out of 10 recommend. All right. Well, that's another wrap for another episode.
Yes.
Thanks for joining.
Of course. Anytime.
Yes. Have a good day, everybody.
Yes.